All right, let's talk about something we run into every single day: bullshit. We're going to dive deep into what it is, where it comes from, and why it's so dangerous, all based on the philosopher Harry Frankfurt's incredible essay. But to really get a handle on it, we have to start with a more fundamental question.
So let me just ask you straight up, what do you think is the biggest, baddest enemy of the truth? Just take a second. What's the first thing that pops into your head?
For most of us, the answer is a lie, right? It's the obvious suspect. It's a direct attack on what's real. But what if I told you the real culprit, the thing that does way more damage to the truth, is something else entirely? Something sneakier.
So let's get into it. What is this hidden enemy? Well, Frankfurt noticed that this thing is one of the most common features of our culture, yet we don't really have a solid grasp on what it even is.
You know, we all feel like we have a good BS detector. We're pretty sure we know it when we see it. But here's Frankfurt's whole point. That confidence might be a little misplaced. Before we can fight it, we've got to understand it.
All right, so to get to the heart of what bullshit actually is, Frankfurt doesn't just throw a dry definition at us. Instead, he tells this really fascinating and kind of weird story about the philosopher Ludwig Wittgenstein.
Okay, so picture this. A friend of Wittgenstein's, Fanya Pascal, just had her tonsils out, and she's feeling absolutely terrible. When Wittgenstein comes to visit, she says this: "You know, it's a pretty normal way to say you feel awful. Seems harmless, doesn't it?"
Well, Wittgenstein's reaction was intense. He was apparently disgusted by her comment. And his reply just seems so harsh, right? Almost cruel. So what on earth was his problem?
And here's the crucial part. Wittgenstein knew she wasn't lying. She really did feel horrible. What got to him was something different. It was the carelessness of it all, a total disregard for trying to describe things as they actually are. She had no clue what a run-over dog felt like. She was just saying words without caring if they connected to reality.
And boom, that is the perfect illustration of Frankfurt's main idea. The essence of bullshit isn't that it's false, it's that it's phony. It's made without any concern for the truth at all. The bullshitter literally does not care if what they're saying is true or false.
Now, this total indifference to the truth is what makes the bullshitter a completely different animal from the liar. And once you see this difference, you'll understand exactly why bullshit is so uniquely dangerous.
Frankfurt pulls out this fantastic quote from a novel, and the advice itself tells you something important, right? It separates lying and bullshitting into two different strategies. So, what's the real distinction?
Okay, let's break this down because this is key. The liar has to know the truth. They're focused on it because their whole goal is to hide it from you. They are, in a weird way, respectful of the facts because they have to work around them. But the bullshitter, they're completely unconstrained. They're not trying to hide the truth. They're trying to impress you or persuade you, and the truth just doesn't factor in. So one creates something false, the other creates something phony.
And this leads to a really great analogy. Think of lying as a craft. It takes precision, it's very focused, you're carefully inserting something false into reality. Bullshitting, on the other hand, is more of an art. It's improvisation, it's expansive, it has way more creative freedom. I mean, there's a reason we call them bullshit artists.
So the big question is, if this stuff is so disconnected from reality, why is it absolutely everywhere? Why does our world seem to be swimming in it? Well, Frankfurt has a few ideas about that.
So for starters, bullshit just happens when people are forced to talk about things they don't know anything about. And in public life, that's pretty common. Then you add the pressure we all feel to have an opinion on literally everything. But Frankfurt goes deeper. He says our whole culture has gotten more skeptical that objective truth even exists. And at the same time, we've shifted our values away from correctness, being true to the facts, to sincerity, being true to yourself.
And here it is. This is Frankfurt's brilliant checkmate. Because if we decide to stop caring about being true to the world and instead just focus on being true to ourselves, we hit a massive snag. Our own selves are messy and not very solid. If there's no objective reality, then how can you even know your true self? In that world, being sincere is just, you guessed it, another form of bullshit.
Okay, so let's put all the pieces together and see exactly why this phony indifference is so much worse for the truth than a straightforward lie.
Think of it like a game. The honest person and the liar, they're playing the same game. Sure, they're on opposite sides, but they both agree on the rules. They both agree that there's a difference between true and false. The bullshitter, though, they're not even playing. They've kicked the whole game board over and walked away acting like the rules are totally meaningless.
And that, right there, is the heart of the danger. A liar, by fighting against the truth, is actually paying it a compliment.
They're acknowledging its power. But the bullshitter, by just ignoring it completely, does something far more corrosive. They make the whole idea of truth seem irrelevant.
And so, we land on Frankfurt's powerful conclusion. You can fight a lie with facts, but the bullshitter isn't attacking the facts, they're attacking the value of facts. And by doing that, they pose a much, much greater threat to our ability to even agree on what reality is.
So after all that, the final question really isn't for Frankfurt to answer. It's for you. It's for us. We now have a much clearer idea of what bullshit is. It's not just a lie. It's a deep indifference to reality. And recognizing it is the first step. The real question is, what are you going to do about it?